What's up, guys? This is Bob, tiny house builder out of Chicago, and I just wanted to make a video and let everyone know that I think that going after tiny house zoning is a complete waste of time. And the reason that I say that is I've spent 2018 doing exactly that. In fact, been to more board meetings and municipality meetings and all these meetings, and not a damn thing's changed. So you might say, well, you're just jaded towards this whole process. Well, no, I got zoning. We got a tiny house community in Chicago. But you know what? There ain't a whole lot of people showing up there. So I love it when people are talking about how if zoning would change, tiny houses, they would be everywhere. No, wrong. Because we have the zoning in one of the largest densely populated areas in the country, and nobody's flocking there just yet. Here's why. One, it's not done, but that's a separate issue. We don't have a real waiting list going either. The financing is the issue. See, everyone thinks that, I think it's because it's a real romantic topic, this zoning idea. Zoning doesn't matter in the tiny house world. If somebody can build it, they will park it. You talk to anybody who's who's one of the early adopters of the tiny house movement. They're DIYers, built their houses on a budget, but the bottom line is they can afford it. So what did they do? They parked it wherever they so damn please. See, everyone likes to make this like, oh, well, they won't let us live the way that we want to live. Well, is it really the zoning that won't let you live the way that you want to live? Or is it the financing? Because I believe if somebody can afford something, they own it. And once you own something, then you feel entitled to do what you please with it. Same way the early adopters of the tiny house movement, those that built their houses on a budget, they own it. So they feel entitled to do what they please with it. And they will park it wherever they so wish. And if they get moved, so be it. But they're going to continue to live the way that they want to live. See, being in this for 3 years, I've seen it. Only 10% of the people that purchase our product of a tiny home purchase with cash. The other 90% need financing. Whether it's a personal credit card, personal loan, sometimes they'll have like a relative take out a home equity loan to just bring cash to the table that way. And then we have our traditional RV financing, but that financing is really bad. It's very difficult to qualify. You have to have really good income and really low debt. So that's almost impossible for most people. So the tipping point here is if we change the financing, we can then create a cause of difference. And you might say, well, that's fine. Easier said than done, Bob. That's fine. I agree with you. But listen to these numbers that I wrote down. So, a local finance company came about in August of this year, and they were basically toying with the idea of possibly lending money on the tiny house industry. Well, when an industry is so financially starved for their proper financing options, you just have to tell somebody you're thinking about doing something like that, and it's going to spread like wildfire. So much that within like a week, within days for sure, applications reached record highs with this finance company at 50 a day. The underwriter was telling me the other day was that they were taking in 50 applications a day. Now you multiply the math on that. I did some simple math. 50 times 365, that's 18,250 applications a year. The tiny house industry right now only produces maybe 2,000 homes. At best, probably more like 1,500. So now you're going to take that and you're going to receive that many applications. That's how many hungry people are out there just by a rumor. This is just a rumor. This was like, hey, call these people. They might have tiny house financing. And just by that kind of tone of voice, produced 50 applications a day consistently. And I said, well, that's great, but how many? I was talking to the underwriter, and I said, that's great. Well, how many of these people are bums? You know, how many people got like horrible credit scores and are just dreamers? She said, actually, 9 out of 10 qualify, no problem. I said, so there's only a 10% denial rate. She goes, yeah. I said, do you know what our denial rate right now is on RV loans? I said, the denial rate right now on RV loans is 90%. So this is a complete 180. So instead of 1 out of maybe 10, or it's not even that good. I'd say it's 1 out of 15 actually qualify for the RV financing. You're gonna take that, flip it on its head, and go 9 out of 10. 90% approval rate. So when you multiply that by all these other numbers, it's at a bare minimum 16,425 new tiny house owners if this financing product comes to fruition. So we basically take the industry, if you take it on the high point of 2,000 homes that are currently being produced a year, and I still think that that number is kind of high, we take the industry into hyperdrive and we increase it by 800%. Now we got 16,000 in a year of new tiny house owners. That's a tipping point. That's when zoning becomes an epidemic. These people will park these wherever they please if they can pay for it. So that's what's happening right now in the tiny house industry. And that's why I say to those of you that are beating your heads up against the wall with tiny house zoning, you don't need to anymore. The dog days are over. And a lot of us are going to feel like the last 3 to 4 years was a tranche from hell, because it was. It's going to be over. 3 things are going to happen, and I want the consumers out there, tiny house people that are enthusiasts to purchase these homes, I want you to be aware of something. This is from the bottom of my heart, my prediction of what will happen in the market. Within 3 years, there'll be a secondary market of used units in a surplus that nobody's ever seen before, which means there'll be even more affordable options to go tiny. The other thing that's going to happen is that certain manufacturers, being that they've tranched, myself included, through the last 3 years, are going to get greedy. See, supply and demand. Now all of a sudden there's going to be this massive demand and not enough supply. Hold yourself to the 2018 pricing that you currently see in Ninja Shopping. Maybe a little more because of material. But just because you have the ability to finance something doesn't mean that they have the right, or any of us have the right, to inflate our prices and rip people off. So be wary of that. Prices will inflate. And then I believe it'll level off. But through this whole process, zoning is going to take care of itself. Because for the first time, we get to rattle the cages of the power of the dead. The power's coming back to us, friends, in the form of a financing option that's days away. We were going to wait. As a tiny house company, we were going to wait until the first of the year before we released the information. But we wanted people to take advantage of the 2018 pricing and get a jump on just getting things going. All this bullshit over the last 3 years is gone. And it's going quick. And it's exciting. And instead of doing like a New Year's resolution video or a recap on the year, I just want to say, I've been doing this since 2015, and it's taken a lot out of me, and it's beaten me down, and it's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. And every day I get up and I fight for people that want to live the way that they want to live. And so when I think about bringing a financing option to the table that solves the ability to purchase for 9 out of 10 people. It really makes me overwhelmingly makes me feel so much joy. And it's been a long time coming. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate everyone that follows me on this channel. And it's really cool. So, well, anyway, it's over. Things are going to get a lot better. If you want more information about financing options that we now have available, find the information below. Otherwise, let's just have an awesome 2019 and stop wasting your time with zoning. It's going to take care of itself. See you.